Hello and welcome back, and we're going to play another one of these stadium courses, and this is from richnufc. Oh, it should have 99 in the title, I'll amend that. And it's Peccinari or Peccinari Hills, however you choose to say it. Right, let's go medium and let's go northeast, and we'll stick with pin 1. Okay. Oh, it's taking a little while to load. Well, the good news is we should be warmed up, having played one round already. Okay, so we've gone with. Oh, this looks interesting. Okay, so real different styles of foliage here. What on earth is this? So like hotel complex thing right in the middle. Yeah, let's just zoom up. I mean, we are taking it for a given that everyone is stuck with the boundaries, so I'm not. Yeah, and I remember the shape of the plot. You have this little corner down here. So just goes to show that it's not really tight, or too tight at all. One thing that kind of leaps out is we've got a lot of trees that are planted in sole areas, which I guess for the manufactured style of planting can work and make sense. I've done a few rich course playthroughs before, and I'm interested to see whether I see the same things that I've said beforehand. Like, often it's the surfacing that just gets super wide for no reason. I don't think that seems to be the case here as much, but there are some interesting little bits here and there. So we kind of weave around some hills, very densely planted. Cool. And of course, because it's a stadium course, we have the water. Everyone has the water. He's done some interesting. Okay. That is a way of doing a bridge. I don't know how you're getting buggies and things over there, but that's okay. Ooh, let's leap back. I've got practice area. Okay, so we got cypress tree overlooking. Bunkers digging into fairway, which is nice. I would generally try and avoid the one here that's a carry bunker and the one that's like you're kind of finding it. You clear this one and run into this one. It's just a little tight, which just pushes you back into playing for the middle of the green. First hole sets up well though. Okay, we're just gonna get into there. Yeah, because you can't clear that first bunker by that much before you go into anything else. Big green. Yeah, these are the bits of fairway that you will do that I don't understand why they're there. I get that you need a little collection zone, but you don't need all of this. And like, because this is here as if you were going to play an approach into there and then lay up and then play on, which it just needs a little bit of fairway. It doesn't need all of the lobe. Right, 9-9 pitch. Yeah, I'm liking the setting. The different types of trees, although I think works really nicely here. Okay, up one. Okay, so playing 120 odd with wind. Ugh. A gentle gap wedge, I think. Even that's too much. Yes, you still have to be precise for that one. Yeah, it's a good first hole. Right. Okay. 2 we play. I've got to be honest, I really don't like the big sprawling metropolis and crowds on top. This just feels a little forced, if I'm honest. Because I really like the golf hole. I like this planting down this side. I like how everything sets up. It just doesn't need it. Really big green. Possibly a little too tucked behind those trees. Could use some pruning, but fine. Oh, I did not judge elevation or whatever there. Again, I like how it's kind of all tucked in. there's a lot of this I like. Things really solid as well. Yeah, I think I like that everything is quite simple so far. Like, as in, it hasn't tried to do anything crazy. Whole designs have made sense and been logical. Yeah, and a huge amount of break. There we go. I'll take that. So now it's kind of what I was worried about going through the flyover is now we've got all of these different coloured bits. I guess they're different bushes or representing different coloured bushes. I guess that makes sense. But we've done. I really like the planting on the first few holes. Now we're going in a slightly different direction. I'm just worried whether it's going to be cohesive. Okay, funnels down. Good part 3 though. It sets up nicely. I don't know if you need quite this much apron in front of it, and we could probably use a few more spline points. Oh no, that's the me swing. And the remove heavy rough looks really good. Like, this stuff looks great. Much better way of doing pine straw than like the actual pine straw stuff. It's that pitching wedge flop I hate. Get over. Nope. I did give it a go. Yeah, the slight peril with the cloudy lighting is it now gets really dark. Okay. I would probably, given if you look at this, is another thing we've kind of touched on in previous course reviews. But look at how wide the fairway gets if you take that on versus how narrow it gets if you were to lay up. Like, this needs to be wider down here if you're going to put a bunker in here, or like, I just don't need the bunker. Like, let's make this planted area. Go straight at those central trees. No. I think that's the first one. There's maybe a little too much going on. I don't know if we need the central trees. And yeah, the lighting is kind of killing us now, unfortunately. Come on, sit. Come back. There we go. I like that you see that green in the background as well. Definitely got the idea of the elevated crowd so that they can look down. Works well. Get there. Oh, more uphill than I thought it was. Well, yeah, there is that. That's kind of my logic as well. I like this look. This, yeah, again, we've now gone to these stars of trees, and we now feel like we're in a totally different environment. And it just feels a bit harsh, the change. Like, if you're going to do this and change to pines and conifers and things, you need to manage that transition really, really carefully. Like, it's difficult. This was kind of my worry. Go on, get there. There we go. And the fact that it's super bare underneath, like, yeah, this planting does not look. It just feels like a totally different golf course. I don't mind the hole. I liked the tee shot with the problem. Sorry, not the problem. The unfortunate thing is, I'm just going to take it back to the tee. Oh, there we go. I actually really liked a lot of how you set up the tee shot. I think loads of that look is really good, and yet all I can really see is the pines on the left hand side, and kind of wishing that they were the usual deciduous planting you've had everywhere else. That just looked much, much better. And it's what I was used to and therefore was expecting, whereas this feels quite jarring. You can see like now we're going back to it. I'm just like, why is that stuff here and this stuff here and then this stuff here? If I were being super cynical, it's like we had a week or so to finish this and we just spam multi-plant and called it a day, but forgot which plant we were using. Like, that's kind of, yeah. I like the water's edge. Like you've done some, and that's the shame. It's just like there's so much good work on this, and then that just really draws your eye in less of a good way. I'll stay out of the bunkers. I also really wish the lighting were a bit higher because it's washing out everything, and I can't really see a lot of the good work you've done. Oh, okay. Then maybe it's just a me thing and take it with a pinch of salt. I don't know. It just, I think you can do this. I just think you've got to manage those transitions super carefully. That's a terrible part. I liked the solitary bunker on the inside of this green and the fact that you'd lowered it. That looks quite nice. Would be tempted to put some more of the planting down here that you'd done and might have integrate the landscape a little bit more. They are not helping. Nor is the hotel, which also like it just feels out of place. I'm gonna play down this way. Oh, yeah, didn't see that. Okay. I like that we can. Oh, I've misjudged that. I like that it encourages us to bounce it on for that one. One other thing on the whole designs I'd add is there's times where we go this kind of really modern slash 1990s style like this, where you've got these big greens and bunkers that kind of splash everywhere. And then there are others where it's like more traditional and kind of sometimes doing one thing, sometimes doing the other. I prefer the standard, like the way you did the first two holes, I thought was really nice. Just the bunkers off the side. Right. Yeah, the same thing with the surfacing. Like, there's a lot of fairway here that we don't necessarily need. Okay, 5 iron, probably enough. Yay, we get the sun back. I assume it's a road. I get what we're doing here, but I don't think any of it really makes the whole better. Also, you can really tell that it's single stone walls, and like the amount of time that's taken, I know that would be frustrating to hear to dress up what is a stand. But like, yeah, I just don't think it helps necessarily, and I would have far rather you kind of cut the gallery there and spent your time like sorting out the apron and the other stuff. Yeah, I think so too. Morning, Jamie. It feels like a lot of that. Again, I could be being cynical, but I feel like the wrong things are driving that choice of like we want a path through something, and so that's like it feels like the whole thing has been designed so that you can do this, and yet we're not even going to this hole. We're then walking around a green and playing the next one. I just think I'd rather that you just kind of did the stuff that needs to be there first. See, this is back to the kind of more standard style, and I think this works so much better. Like playing over this, it's much more in like what's the word? In tune with its surroundings. I like the green and the bunkers cut in front of it, and like this clubhouse behind it looks good. Yeah, it looks really nice, and so's this. Like when you do like the simple stuff, I say simple like it's a negative thing. It's not. Like there's a real beauty in simplicity, and just like doing simple things well is perfect for this contest. I might not make it. Oh, it has done. A little bit of a bowl. And I love that little clubhouse behind it. It looks great. Yeah, like 100% one of my favourite holes so far. Again, would have loved these trees to be changed up, but that's going to be a constant, so we won't mention that again. Just cannot get the speeds right. Well, yeah, this again looks really good. Like the kind of more native stuff. I don't think we need the tree. Which one? The second or the last? As in, I've just played 9, unless you mean go back to the second hole. Like, there's also, you don't have to have, I think one thing that we've done, like, video game golf pushes you in different directions, right? Because you're asking people to be more, like, people are able to be more precise. So, sorry, Rich, we're going on a digression, but this is okay. So, where were we? This one. Oh, 9. So, video game golf kind of teaches that everyone can bomb a drive down the fairway, so therefore we need to be more exacting with our approach. So we've kind of ended up in this position where a lot of people feel like if for this pin you go this way, for this pin you go this way, so that people have to think more because that's the only way we can get people out of position. Well, here we were asked to hit a fade and come down this side. That shortens the hole, but you've got this bunker on the other side that we've still got to be wary of. So I still have to make choices. Like if I don't think I can play that, well then I kind of bail out here a little bit more and it's a longer shot in. Like, is it the most hyper strategic hole? No. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're right. I still have to carry this. Like, there's also like this is kind of more in penal architecture of just like hit the shot, hit it. But I can always bail out to this part. So there is strategy in that. Like strategy doesn't necessarily mean like this side is right, this side is wrong. It's about giving you choices as to where you play it. And actually, this green shape with where the pin is, look at all the depth I have on this side compared to here. Like taking that on, that is kind of a sucker pin, right? You've got the bunker right in front. I could take all of that out and just place the fat of the green here, and I'm not really going over the bunker. It's kind of playing to your misses, I guess, a bit more. So, in essence, yes, you are challenging that green side bunker most of the time, but only if you choose to go directly at the pin. And there are ways around it. Now, could it be more strategic? Sure. Does it need to be? Not necessarily. I think would be where and kind of the same with this one. Like you've got a short approach, you're hitting over a bunker. I could play to here. I think this one you're always challenging that bunker, but I could have played around the right. I still don't really generate the angle. I like this one less than the previous one, but it's still still viable as an approach. And like it's a short enough club that I don't mind being forced to hit over a bunker. Yeah, no, there's like so there's classically known as the 3 schools of architecture, so strategic, heroic, and penal. Heroic is just like here's that hazard, feel good about yourself for clearing it. Penal is just like here's the shot, hit it. There's a few other options, and then strategic, which is like giving you all the world room in the world, and like the closer you go, better your shot is. That was a truly terrible tee shot. I don't know that we need this. It's a thing. I just feel like you spend a lot of time on the stuff that doesn't necessarily matter as much, and I wish the whole got a little bit more love. Yeah, but then equally, I always think the most interesting example of those 3 schools, and like, of course, is not necessarily all of those, like just one of those things. Like, look at Augusta's Amen Corner or Amen Corner for those guys over the pond. Like, so you've got 11, which is kind of really, really, what's the word? So you could argue is strategic in that you've got to play down the right and you've got loads of options as to how you get there. It's really flipping hard. But you can choose not to take on the water. 12 is completely penal. And then 13, you could argue, is, well, the most strategic hole in golf, or it's also very heroic because you're carrying that water as well. Like, you can look at each of them slightly different ways, and like, there's no one shot that's all of those things necessarily. Yeah, I mean, it was hard to comment on the previous hole because I played the tee shot so badly. I do think apron sizes is something that still just get out of control a little bit. Well, there's a shot. Sit now. But so I guess ultimately what I would love, that is a long, what I would love is for the game to be such that actually we have to worry about misses, because then, because if you look at this one, for example, it, in video game terms, not very strategic because we can choose like to aim right here, etc. In real life, you don't have that shot dispersion that we do here. So like we view this as like, well, you just hit straight down the middle of the fairway with no issues, and where's the strategy? Whereas the people who are just learning the game, or like, you know, in real life, having water on the right is suddenly very strategic and scary. Or at least it makes us play strategically. Oh yeah, definitely. But then that's where like choosing your tee sets matters. Although all of the tees are right next to one another. Yeah, I think you can space your tee sets out a little bit more. Okay, so here we can go for it, but so here's we haven't had this as much on this course as others, but I think if you don't go for it, like, I feel like I'm just hitting into a field. Like, we can break this up or make this a little more interesting. I'm probably just going to hit 3-iron somewhere down there. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, what, in real life? I can see that. I think for me, one of the things that makes a drivable par 4 is like you got to have some interest in the layup zone to make people think about that, rather than just, oh, I can go for it or I just lay way back. Like, we could have had a bunker, because you've done in fairway bunkers literally right here. Could have had something around the middle, which would have, like, if you offset it and put it down here, say, well then we've got choices to whether we go short right, long right, bringing loads of water into play, short right, bringing a little bit in, but you could roll it down, long left, over, and that might push me into hitting driver at the green a bit more. So I'm like, well, if the layup's tricky, then I might as well go for it. Like, just little things. Yeah, this one needed. I think this is the first hole I've reached where it's just like this. This needed a redo. Like, the idea is there, but the way this is dressed up and sculpted, and like, this should be bigger. You need some planting probably around it. It's a shame. I have liked a lot of the course. This is the first one. It's just like, yes, I think the whole idea is cool, but it needs another couple of passes with the visual stuff. Oh, and I played the tee shot so well as well. Yeah, just the simple stuff looks really good on this. I think that'd be my one major takeaway. When it has been simple, it's been done really effectively. I think these bunkers are a little awkward. Like, that could have easily become a little planted area like this stuff, and would have worked beautifully. Same here, like you could have dragged some of this stuff out. And also, just from a spectator's point, I'm confused by why some are standing in there, some are out, and like why it's kind of fenced off. It doesn't really matter. It's just like, these are the sorts of questions I'd be asking when I'm putting crowds out. Like, why are they standing where they? That has worked out surprisingly well. Done. No. Oh, I almost missed the comeback as well. Yeesh. I kind of like the blind drive. Works well. And we get this big hogs back thing. Hey, well, oh, no, I'm gonna kick off. Oh no, we got away. It did. I got lucky. I don't know if I can reach. I just think we can be probably a little tighter with our surfacing rather than going all the way out there. We can just maybe work the fairway a little further this way so people can play close to that ravine. Rather than, I don't think anyone's going to play out here necessarily. Right, can I get there? Yeah, that's what we're thinking, Sangripa, definitely. Could be very good. A fun second shot. Ooh, Sangripa called it. Good caddy. And then 18. Again, just not sure why we are so pinched on the layups. And I would probably be looking for a reason why this is out of bounds. Don't forget the 15%. What's the 15%? Oh, yeah, got it. Slow morning. Okay, go on, feed in just a little. Yeah. And then these crowds look nice. They've been worked in well. I don't think you need the stone walls around them, because that would imply they're always the walls are always there. Yep, sorry. There we go. A nice part to finish up with. What a finish. That 9 was particularly good. Alrighty. Let's have a little look through. I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought, I would say that's like probably the best rich course I can remember. With still a few whiffs that I think just editing will sort. So like 15, like the idea is really good and interesting. I love that you've tried it. Just dress it up that little bit more. The hotel stuff like feels really awkward, and like I'd say your best stuff is when you do simple and understated really well, and your worst stuff is where you're trying to shoehorn in off course ideas that you're just forcing, like that hotel or the crowd behind the 9, whatever the par 3 was, maybe 8 or 12. I can't remember wherever we came. No, it was the longer one. It was 8. Um, and that like tunnel through and like those things are taking precedence over the hole itself. I take a bit more time on the surfacing and sculpting. Always keep the planting simple. And just got some really good stuff. Like the best holes on here are the ones that aren't trying to do too much. They're the ones that are just simple stuff done well. Like 1 and 2 were really good. Thought 17 was interesting. Like some of the ones by the water where they were simpler were really nice. I think 15 could have been amazing in terms of that idea. I really like it. Just needed dressing up a little bit more. So occasionally the big bold choices play out, but like the things I remember about this course are like the kind of calmer moments, or like where it just felt like it had that sense of place. before the planting started changing or before trees started going in the middle of fairways. Like, simple is good. Doing simple well is hard. And like, it's hard to make yourself trust that that's good. But just like, that's kind of the stuff I really enjoyed about it. Anyway,